We're going to go to the phone lines. Our first caller this evening is Lynn, and Lynn is listening in Riverside, California. Lynn, welcome to the program.
Hi, good evening, Pastor Doug and Pastor John Ross.
Evening.
I just had a quick question since Halloween was coming up. I've been celebrating Halloween with my daughter for the past 6 years, and I just learned about the origin of how Halloween started. And I just wanted to know, this year I'm not going to celebrate Halloween, but our church is having a trick or trunk. Is it still considered bad knowing that the origin came from something evil?
Well, that's a good question. I'm always sympathetic when I answer this because I grew up like most secular kids, and my brother and I went out trick-or-treating, and we dressed up and did all that. Of course, we did it in New York City. It's a little different. You go up and down the apartment building stairs there. But, there's nothing wrong with Christians celebrating certain secular holidays that have that don't have any evil trappings or don't conflict with a Bible principle. There's nothing wrong with celebrating the 4th of July or Thanksgiving. Obviously Christians can participate in that. But if there's one holiday that seems connected with the dark forces, it's Halloween. The origins, as you mentioned, Lynn, are connected with the occult. And it's, so much of it is about, you'll see witches and devils, and it comes from the Druid priests and All Saints' Day. And, it just really doesn't have an origin that I think that Christians should embrace. The scriptures say that we should avoid the unfruitful works of darkness. In fact, we should reprove them. And so we do have a study online at the Amazing Facts website that deals with the subject of Halloween. We have an article that we've published there that kind of gives a history, but it sounds like you found it.
Okay, cool.
Now, you're asking about, if your church is doing something. Hopefully, if your church is doing something, then it's, going to be more protected, or they're going to try and, overcome evil with good and do something that is redemptive. But, I think that we need to avoid being connected as Christians with a holiday that has that kind of origin.
The verse you mentioned, Pastor Doug, is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11, where it says, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them."
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that, Lynn. You have a good evening.
My question was regarding what I don't know which one of you was talking about.
Halloween.
Halloween, and about letting your, or when people come to your door, that you do try and give them a tract or something positive, or, you don't slam their door in their face. My question was, is that in a way participating in it? How do you explain to your kids with their faces pressed up against the window and watching the neighbor kids, trick-or-treating and getting candy from their parents? How do you explain to them that why they're not able to participate in a positive way in anything?
Well, I think, Karen, first of all, that's a very good question. And I have 5 children, so believe me, it's close to home.
Uh-huh.
And, sometimes you can create a positive diversion. You don't have to be at the house. And I'd say more than half the time that's what happens in our family. Matter of fact, I think this coming Halloween, it's on a weekend, we're going to be at an evangelistic event.
Mm-hmm.
So that won't be a problem. But other times, we take them to the Bible. And you need to share with them from your hearts. Christians sometimes have to explain to the children, you cannot participate in things the world promotes as fun and exciting if Jesus does not approve.
Mm-hmm.
And so you take them to the scriptures and say, these things look like fun, but look out the window. They're dressing up like dismembered humans. They're dressing up like devils. They're dressing up like ghosts and witches and sometimes politicians. But the thing is that you don't want to miss is that the kids, you need to explain to them that this is something that Jesus is not pleased with. And if you love Jesus, sometimes you need to say no to something that would normally seem attractive. Mm-hmm. And just appeal to their self-control. That's a tough lesson.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think probably you're right. The idea of totally diverting it by doing something else would be the better idea, because I just would be very difficult for me to be able to explain that, well, I'm participating in one way by doing this for the kids in the neighborhood, but you're not allowed to do anything.
Well, you can tell the kids when they come to the door, what we've done before is we said, you give them this tract. And then they're participating in supporting the good side, overcoming evil with good. But again, it is easier. And a lot of churches in almost every community have some kind of a positive harvest program for children that is designed specifically to give them a positive diversion so that they don't feel like they're deprived.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Good question,
Thanks
Karen.
for
I
the
know
call,
others were
Karen.
thinking that.
Our next caller is Kimberly, listening in Idaho. Kimberly, welcome to the program.
Hello, thank you. My question is it okay for a Christian to celebrate Halloween? And if not, why not?
Well, if we were to ask the question a little differently, is there a holiday among the cultural holidays that it would not be appropriate to celebrate? If there is a holiday that would not go well with Christian theology and practice, I would think it would be Halloween, just because, first of all, the history of it kind of grows out of a Druid priest practice in England. The Catholics called it All Saints' Day, where they would pray to the dead saints, and that kind of combined with some of the other cultures. And even if you look around, you see people dressing up like witches. I just heard they're outlawing clown costumes now or something, because people have been dressing up as clowns and doing seedy things. And but ghosts and devils and some of them I recognize are harmless. People might dress up like an angel, but the idea, if you can give me a treat or I'm going to sabotage your home with eggs. That's what we did when we were kids. we do a trick if they didn't give us a treat. And, just there's so many trappings of Easter, Kimberly, of Halloween, that just are rooted in paganism that, I don't think a Christian should celebrate it. If people knock on your door, I don't recommend you open the door and shout that I don't believe in Halloween, slam the door. You might give them something redeemable or profitable. Anyway, I don't know if that's answering your question.
I think so. With the roots of it and everything, do you think that they are still, that it's based on I've heard that there's, human sacrifices and things that happen on Halloween. Do you believe that still happens? And if you're celebrating it, or if you're going trick-or-treating, are you participating in what the root of it is?
Yeah, I know that back in the days of Harry Houdini, there were a lot of people that participated in seances, especially on Halloween. It's sort of like a high day for, the satanic worshipers. So whether or not there's human sacrifice still going on, well, I haven't heard of that. It may be. I know a lot of devious things happen during that time. Usually not a lot of great blessings come out of Halloween. They tell people, stay close to your kids and make sure that you don't, take fresh fruit from people because it could be poisoned. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of stuff to worry about. So, it's one holiday I'm not real excited about as a Christian. I don't know that we can justify it. Hey, I hope that helps a little. Matter of fact, we have a website that is called Deaf Truth, and I think there's a segment in there that says, what about Halloween? Usually this time of year, we put it up at the front.
Well, we have a website called Ghost Truth as well that deals with that same subject.
That's right.
And I think that's more specifically related, to Halloween and this time of the year. Again, just go to the website, take a look at ghosttruth.com. There's a lot of video there and good Bible study content that I think you'll enjoy.